Hi there, YouTube friends. Here I am back with another video. This time I wanted to share some, a quick way to get started using Git. I know most of you have to use GitHub, and most of the time you just have to do one or two commands to get going. But I have also learned a few recently, and I just want to share that with you. So let's get started. Let's start with this simple repository that I have here for one of my projects, and let's say that I wanted to clone the repository. So I go ahead and copy the link, and the first command we're going to execute on Git is going to be clone. So let's go ahead and clone it, and we'll take that repository, and so now we've cloned it. Okay, so now we have that. Now you notice that the repository is actually going to go into another folder, and it's going to be, since this project is code line counter, it's going to go into code line counter, and that's our repository. So we have to change our directory in there. So we just change directory into code line counter, and now you're going to see Git status here. So it says I'm on the branch master. But let's say that, for example, that I wanted to branch off because maybe I wanted to do something. So one way to branch is just to say git checkout -b, and then create a branch, and we name our branch from here. So let's call it, let's say that we're going to add another feature, or let's say that we're going to fix a bug, and we give it a bug. Maybe you have a bug name or a naming convention in your system, so you just say bug, and let's say that this is our project is, features or something, and we just give it a name. Or let's say handles input bad or something, whatever it happens to be. And this should create our branch. And so now when I look at branches, I can actually type git branch, and you can see what branch I'm in. So I have two branches. I have the master branch and the features branch, but right now I'm in the features branch. And so I am in that branch. So if I wanted to make changes to that project, I'd have to, of course, navigate to users. Let's see, where did we have it? And we have code line counter should be here. Okay, so let's say that I open this project in Visual Studio. Oh, here it is. Okay, then give me the option for Visual Studio Selector. So I open it up in Visual Studio. It's going to open up over here on my other screen. I can't move it right now. You don't see it, but it's opening up. But I can't move the screen over while it's opening up. Oh, here it goes. Okay, there it goes, and it's opening up. And we, of course, are not going to do anything with this, but let's say, for example, that we made a change to the eyeline parser or something. And I'm not going to make any significant changes. All I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, added comment here to test, commits, using Git. So I save it. It's not going to do anything, of course. And maybe add another comment somewhere else. In a real project, you would probably add actual code, but we're just doing it for the sample here. So, what is this? Oh wow, I don't have a license for this. Oh crap. So it's gonna, so yeah, save changes. That's okay, because I think I can open it up in Visual Studio Code. I don't have a license. I think I don't have a license for this. So let me open it up with code. I think my license expired. The one that I had, I gotta look into and see if I have another one. So let me go ahead and make a change maybe to unit test or something, And I'm just going to add another comment here. So I save it. And so I have all my files saved, and I should be able to go into here and see my changes, and I could say Git status showed me all the files, and you can see all the files that I have made changes to. Let me increase the font so you can see it a little bit better here. Properties, font, let's go with maybe 20. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So you can see where I've changed, and I can actually see if I use git diff, it lets me see all my changes, and you can see my changes here, and you can see where, you know, where I have the left and the right, and it shows me in green. The stuff in green is stuff that I added. If I had removed something, it would show it in red. That would indicate that I removed the line, but in this case it's only showing that I added, and it's also showing these return characters that are common with Windows systems. It adds this non-readable character, the return line character, so you can see that. And of course I can continue hitting enter here, and it'll continue showing me everything I added. Of course it gets to the end and I can just exit by hitting Q here, so I can see what I'm committing. So now whenever I want to add this code into, in order to commit it, I can just type git add, right? And then that's going to give me a different status. Now you're going to see that the files change to green. That means that they are staged for commit. So now I can say git commit, and typically I say -am, and I add a comment. And make sure you have the quotes and everything right. Otherwise you could end up in the VI editor, and if you haven't used the VI editor or VM or whatever, you might have a hard time getting out of it. So I just recommend that. I would recommend that you learn how to exit out of the Vim editor at least. That way if you do get in there, you can exit gracefully. So I just say added some comments to test Git for demo, and then I just commit it. So now if I do git status, it's going to tell me that everything's clean. This has not, however, pushed it over to the server, right? So let's say that I have a commit. There's another way to see the log. I can say git log, and it'll show me everything I made. Now, you notice these commits show me everything I've done. So this says January 20th, but you notice the last one is November 8th. So what I had didn't have, the last commit it had was November 8th. Everything that I did today is January 20th. And of course, it's going to be probably more and everything. You see all these commits, and they have a hash key. So I can quit out of here by using Q. And so let's say that I went and made another change. And let's say this time I go to, let's say, for example, the, I don't want to make a change there. Let's see, form CS. So let's say that I add a comment here. Let's say I have testing for Git. So I save it, go back to my command line, and when I go to my command line, I say, you know, if I check my Git status, you can see that I made a change, and I can say git diff to see what change I actually made. And then I could actually commit it the same way that I did before. I say git am, and I say added another comment. So I add another comment there. And so now I have two commits. Now when I look at my log, you can see that I have a couple of commits, right? I have this commit and this commit. Oh, so sometimes you may want to commit that and just go ahead and push that up. And I can push that up, right? But sometimes if you have a lot of commits, there's this concept called stash. And we actually basically not stash, excuse me, squash. So you want to squash different commits into one. Maybe I get done at the end because I was committing and I did 10, 20 different commits locally, but I want to commit everything as one commit. So let's do one more commit, and then I'll demonstrate that. So let's do one more commit, and let's do here, let's add another comment. So we save that. And we go here, and if we check the git status, it's going to show that I changed that. So I can say git add and git commit and then I had it, you know, one more comment. Okay, and then now when I look at my log, I have multiple commits. So I have this one and this one and this one. So there's a way to do that, and in order to do that, I can use something called I'm trying to think of what it is. It's let's see, it's called Rebase, I believe. Let's take a quick look. So if I say Git Rebase, there's a way to do it. Okay, so here you have documentation, and the idea with rebasing is that you can actually rebase it back to one commit, but there's a way to rebase, and what you do is you squash everything. So I believe the command, and I'm gonna go ahead and play roulette here, and I think I can say git rebase, right, -I, right, and I can say head, and then I can tell it the number of commits that I want. So since I know I made 3, I want the last 3, I want to squash them all into one, so I say 3. What this is going to do is going to put me into the editor, right? And it's going to take a few seconds, and now you can see it says pick. So what I can do here, and now I'm in VI, so you got to know how to navigate VI. See, notice how I did that funky stuff like that? So you got to be careful with that, right? So right now I'm in a state where I'm like, ooh, what did I do? I don't want to be able to write this. I'm going to squash this. I'm not squash it, but I mean literally. I just want to exit. So one way that I can do it is just put a Q. I can put Q and quit, and that exits out. So I'm going to try the command again. Hopefully I'll do it right this time. So I try git rebase -I, hit 3. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to escape here, right? And hopefully I can move here. And I have to type the letter I in order to start inserting data. So I would recommend some kind of course on Vim in order for you to do this. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say squash here. And let's see that I can delete this. And then I do that and move around. Hit the I again, and then squash. And remember, if you make any mistakes where the file gets screwed up or anything, just type colon Q and exclamation. That'll quit the file without saving any of the changes. Since I have the changes, basically what I'm doing right now is I am compressing all my 3 changes into one commit. So what I'm going to do now is hit escape, and I'm going to type colon WQ, that means write, and quit. That means save the file and close it. And so now it's going to take me here. It's rebasing. So now it gives me an opportunity to add these comments, right? So it's going to add these comments as one. So it's going to say this. It's going to do all these. I can delete these comments. Anything in the with the pound sign is going to get, or some of you know with the hashtag, is going to get ignored. So with this, what I'm going to do is go ahead and save this as is. I think this will be fine. And I'm just going to hit colon, right, quit, and exit. And now when you look at my Git log, you're going to notice something interesting. So now what you see is you see one change January 20th with all my changes, and then you see one November 8th. So basically it squashed everything into one commit, because this is what I would do if I'm ready to commit, because on the server I don't necessarily want to have, you know, all these commits that they have to look through in order to figure out what I did. I can just push it up as one, and you know, you can always move your stuff into one branch so you can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of here. Actually, I gotta hit the Q, and what I'm gonna do now, I am going to push my changes up. So in order for me to push my changes up, well, before I do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual diffs. So let's say that I wanted to look at everything that I changed. I can say use this command, git k, and it's going to open up the tree log, right? And I can see the changes that I made here, right? So you can see every file that I changed, and you can see how I changed it. And I just added comments. So I can close this. Let me open it back up because I don't want to. And I get confused because it has a white bar and sometimes I don't know where to click. So once I do that, then I'm ready to push everything up. So let's say that I wanted to push everything up. And so now I just say git, right? What I may want to do is I want to say git status, or maybe I want to say branch because I want to see the branches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say git push origin, and then I want to push this. So the easiest way to do it is just to copy it, Control C it, and paste it, and push it up. And that's going to push a branch up to my repository. So I should be able to see this branch over here now. And so when I push this branch up, if I refresh this page, I should be able to see a branch. See, my branch is there, and now I can see my commits under that branch, and you can see that I added. Now you notice that on this branch that I can see all my other commits that were there prior to this branch. Well, the reason for that is because when you branch off somewhere, you actually branch everything, including all the other previous commits. So you have all of that. Now let's say, for example, that I wanted to merge everything into here. What I could do, right, I can go back over here, right, and this is not normal for me to do it locally here, but I could actually say, for example, if I look at git branch, I'm there. So let's say that I want to merge my features branch into my master branch. What I would do is take and do a git checkout, and this time I just have to say git checkout master, right? And it's going to put everything into master. I might want to do a git fetch or something, or a git pull, you know, whatever. So, or I could just say git pull and it should pull everything fine. I think I'll be fine like that. So everything's already up to date. So now since I'm in the branch master, I can say git merge, and this is how you merge, and I tell it what I want to merge. So I want to merge this branch into my, I want to merge that into my current branch, right? And so it does it. And so now when I check my branch, I am in master, and then I can say git git K, right? And I can see what it all merged in there, and I can see that my changes are there, right? And that they actually made it into here, you know, from that branch. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and push it over to the main repository. So I say git push, and then I can say origin master. I believe this is right. Let's see if I got it right. And so did it do it? Hold on a second. I gotta check something. Yeah. It says I pushed. So let's take a look and see if it's there. So now if we go here, I should be able to do this, and I should be able to look at the master branch and see if those changes made it in there. And it seems that they are in the branch master. So hopefully that'll get you there. So just to kind of recap what we did, if I go back through everything that I did, first I did a git clone, right? So that's to pull everything down, and usually you go to a repository and you go to clone, and then you use the command git clone. You copy this, or you can use this to copy it, and you do a git clone, and that's going to clone it locally. After I did the git clone, I used the command git branch, right? Git checkout to do a branch. So git checkout is how you do a branch, and the idea is that when you type, and let me just open up the notepad. So the first thing you do at the command line is you do a git clone, and usually you just copy whatever repo, like in this case, you copy this, copy that, and you say git clone, and that's going to check everything out. Now, when you do git clone, you got to go in one level deeper, because you're going to have to cd into code line counter, because it didn't necessarily create the folder there. After you get in there, right, so you should do git cd into code line counter, for example. And then after you do that, then that's when you can, you know, if you want to work on a branch, then you would have to do, say, git checkout -b. That means you want to create a branch, name your branch, bug, feature, whatever, right? Whatever you want to name it. And then once you do a checkout, and I got checkout misspelled, so can't copy this. Okay, so git checkout. So now it's going to move you into that branch. You make all your changes and everything, and let's say that you have a whole bunch of changes. You may want to squash them all together. So in order to do that, what you do is do a git rebase -i, and then you say head, and use this little tilde, and take however many you have, you know, 4 or 5, whatever. You know, in our case, it was 3. Now, all through this process, you can always see the git status, right? So one thing I left out is before you do this, when you do the git rebase, of course, you're going to do something else called git add, just to stage the files. And then you're going to do git commit -am or -am. I did this or that. And as you do your commits, later on when you do this several times, then you're going to want to rebase. You don't have to rebase. The only reason I say rebase is because that way you don't have a whole bunch of granular commits along the way. That way you just have 1 or 2 or whatever, and then you push it up. So then after you do that, git rebase, then you can, you know, you can actually push the branch up, because maybe somebody needs to review it before they merge it into the master. So with that, you would say git, you would do git push. You might want to do a git status, because you're going to go do git push origin, and then the branch, in this case, our branch is bug feature X, right? And once you push that up, you should be able to see that. Now, that's usually how you work sometimes. And when you want to do a pull request, then you do a pull request, because, like, for example, if I was here and I was in this bug feature and I say new pull request, right? But right now there's nothing to request. I would have to create another branch, because everything's already been merged. So I would do a pull request for somebody else to pull it in. And pull request usually means that somebody's going to code review it and all this and that, and see if it is, or maybe they run it in their local machine to make sure everything works, and then when the time is right, then they merge it into the main branch. So I think that's it for now. I think that's plenty, but that's a basic workflow, the most basic commands you can use to actually get some work done in Git. And thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, go ahead and comment or give it a thumbs down if that's what you want to do. But if you think that you like this content and you would like to see more, go ahead and subscribe. It really helps keep up the subscriptions. And, you know, I don't have a whole lot right now, but maybe hopefully, you know, I'll get more, and hopefully you like these videos. And if you give me feedback, I'll make videos on whatever you request. Thanks for watching.